do this all in one. Okay, now I got this princess, and I want to kind of leaning back in a la 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 kind of way, and they said HD Pack said they used the line of curve or something. I don't know, people call things differently. So I presume this is kind of what you mean. Is it kind of an action curve or something like that? So this is kind of how I'm imagining. I suppose the princess is kind of standing back, something like that, with her legs, if you think of it like that. So so I'm going to want her bodice coming in, and she's going to be very thin-waisted, as all princesses are. Yeah. So poor princesses are kind of obviously not allowed to eat anything, and yeah, they've got to be thin for the cameras and for the beautiful wedding dress and all that kind of rubbish, haven't they? So anyway, this is going to be her, and yeah, and I can't say it properly. Spanish. I'm going to call him James. Anyway, I'm sure it's Spanish for James. No, it's not, is it? Because that's anyway. So Jam. I'm going to call. Anyway, he'll let me know. There were so many names at the YouTube creator camp. I kind of didn't quite catch everybody. Now, what am I doing here? I'm going to give her a nice long, kind of flowing. What's it called? The thing you have here, look, sleeve. That's give her nice long flowing sleeves. So he's asked me if I could particularly have her in a kind of a woodland setting, like she's just kind of woken up from a dream, that kind of thing. So she's going to want a little kind of neckline like that, and just a little hint of bust. This is a fairy tale princess, so we don't want anything too kind of you know, she's kind of fairy tale princesses, of course, are, I don't know, how old would you think a fairy tale princess would be? You know, when you think of Romeo and Juliet or something like that. I mean, Juliet is only kind of 14 or something, isn't she? And I think probably all those original fairy tale princesses in the stories are probably really quite young, really, I think, because they all kind of got married off really young, didn't they, in those days? So now her hands. I'm going to have her hand like that, have a thumb, and then into a finger. Let me just see the others kind of there, and maybe it has some kind of a little sleevette kind of thing there, and here, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. She probably wants a ring on her fingers as well. So, and then if she's just woken up in the forest, then of course all the little birdies are going tweet, tweet, tweet. We love you, princess. Sorry. This is like I've been drawing children's books for about 24 years now. So I suppose some of it's rubbed off, isn't it? And I've been going around schools, libraries, telling stories and things. So I suppose that's where all the get these silly voices from. I don't know. Right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw her hair in first. Okay. And these are all going to be kind of curly bits like that. And then if I draw the top of her tiara like that. I've had another plaintive message today from Migliap on YouTube saying I go too fast. I hope the pencil drawing is not too light. They worried that the pencil drawing was too light as well. And they said that I go too fast. And in the old days I used to do, say, first of all draw a circle and then draw this. And Migliap is absolutely right. write, and I think the trouble is that, especially at the moment, I just don't have any spare time, and these videos I kind of snatch a bit of time and just do them, and this time of year is just really busy. Visiting schools, and I put a little nose in there. Let me get this mouth in there. And I've just been visiting lots and lots of schools and libraries and festivals and things like that. And I'm just not home much, and I kind of sit there in hotel rooms thinking about what I can do for the next video. But I'm also illustrating a book at the moment in a very rush stage, so I'm sitting in a hotel room planning that as well and doing the artwork when I get home. So right at the moment I haven't got much time, but I'm really looking forward to kind of late November into December, when I have nothing on, because I'm going to put that all aside for YouTube and also my app. I'm going to be doing an app which I've been desperately trying to do. It's a, what do you call it, interactive ebook story. If you've seen my Sweet Little Baby video, here I'll put it just there, you'll find it, which I did a little app, and I'm going to show you how to draw that sweet little baby at some point. And I want to get on, because that app was just kind of to prove that I could do it, to make the interactive ebook that I want to do. So so that's something I want to get on with as well, and I'll have more time to really think about it and do some more simpler, slower things where I'll say, you draw a square and work out from that. So I promise. Okay, but hang on in the meantime. Now this hand doesn't really look like a hand, but then when you put the other fingers in behind, it kind of does. And I'm drawing this really quite small, so it's quite hard to control. And again, you see, I'm drawing it small just to fit in the camera and to be able to do everything in a reasonable amount of time. So I'm going to put this and a log in the background, because that's kind of what you see in a fairyland scene, and it suggests that the woodcutter has kind of just left her there, and the little birdies have come along and saying, "We'll help you, princess, we'll show you the way." Doing those silly voices again, sorry. It's kind of what I do. Other people this week have been commenting on my videos, like, "This guy's weird, he talks to himself." And yes, I do. And of course I'm talking now, I'm actually talking to you, because you're the person who's watching it. I don't actually know who you are, but I kind of have an imaginary picture of the people that I'm talking to. But quite often when I'm on my own, especially writing stories, then I will be talking to myself, doing funny voices, and telling myself the stories as I'm writing them. But that's, I suppose, the hazard of the job. And so there's some little birdies, and I'm going to put in some very rough kind of woodland background scene, and maybe a kind of branch or two or something hanging down. I'm just not thinking about this. I should think about that a bit better, actually. I haven't planned that. Okay, that's just to give a kind of woodland scene, because I'm going to have a go at painting this now. I'll just switch off a minute while I get everything ready. Okay, I got that more in the middle. I'm going to erase all those pencil lines, and I'm going to say erase again, because somebody recently said, could I please say the word erase again? I like the way I say that. It's a bit weird, this YouTube thing. People pick up on the most strange things. And let me just get this kind of just coming out of the woodland. I'm going to paint a bit of this so you can see what I'm doing, and then I'm going to kind of fill in the background in speed at the end, because we're not going to have time to do it all. Now, I'm going to get a bit of. Let me show you. These are my paints. People keep asking there. Winsor & Newton, artist quality, half pans. Okay, in a nice little set that I've had for 30 years or so. Yeah. And I've got my water there. Right, now I'm using this is called Naples Yellow, and I'm just going to kind of drop that into her face. I'm going to leave a little bit of space around her cheeks and her nose, just a tiny bit of white left around there, and then a bit in there, and then just drop a bit up there. That's probably a bit too pink, but by leaving that bit of white space, it means that you can have a bit of kind of a shine on the glowing cheeks, because I presume she's in love. So fairy tale princesses are right, good. And then her, let me think, that will give these little birds, I'm going to make them blue. Not that you really get blue birds, do you? But you do in kind of fairy tales, don't you? And then they'll stand out a bit more like that. And in the tail there. And the reason I'm doing that and not anymore, I need to put a bit of pink in her hands there, like that. It's just kind of dropping in a little effect of pink. Actually, I can put a tiny little hint of blue down there and blue there, which will be almost like a shadow. So that's just a kind of an early thing, and then there'll be a bit of blue. I don't know, does that show up at all? That's very pale. I'll put that in there. It's kind of like a shadow. Yeah, that's good. And then I'll have a bit of put that in there, and then I'm going to have a bit of green. So I'm just going to have these kind of pale, these leaves are going to be pale because they're kind of in the foreground, and then all the leaves behind it are going to be a bit darker, except for these bits that kind of stick out. So I can draw those in now. And actually I can probably do her hair now as well. Again, I'm doing her hair in this Naples Yellow, which is one of my favourite colours. It's just, I don't know, it's just kind of one of the staples of my palette that I use, and I think everybody uses different palettes. If you go and read a book on watercolour, it'll probably say you must have this, you must have that. But I think by having your choice of colours, well, you're going to create your own problems, but you're also going to create all your good effects because they're yours. And by having your own kind of particular set of colours that you work with, you'll develop your own particular recognisable style, which, as an illustrator, that's the thing that you're really, really after, is developing a style that people will recognise. They might not like it to start off with, but after a while they get used to it. They go, oh yeah, that's so-and-so. And the trouble with artistic things, people never like anything new. And then suddenly they go, oh, I get it. And then suddenly they want everyone to do exactly the same thing, and everybody else starts copying. So if you can come up with something new, you'll be very lucky. And just in your own kind of distinctive style. And then I'll just fill this in. This log. Like that. And then I'm going to get a bit darker. I'm working in very cramped conditions here. Every time you hear a ding, that's my paintbrush hitting the light. So normally I wouldn't be quite so hunched over the drawing as I'm squeezed in here under the lights. And also the lights kind of affect the colour and all sorts of things. So it's kind of different to how I normally work. Now I'm going to change to a slightly bigger brush, and I'm going to wash in a load of green in the foreground before, and then, so we'll have a kind of bright green in the foreground, has that filling in, and I'll just do kind of like flicking it up like that. Okay, and I don't think I'm going to do much more to it than that. How are we doing? That's kind of over there. That's good. And slap it on down to there. There we go. That's great. But what I can do is get a bit of darker green and add a bit of blue in there. And I'm going to add quite a bit more blue. Just more kind of shadow in here. Just to make it kind of more, kind of helps to put her on the ground like that. So there we go. I'm going to have to I'm going to switch off while I dry with my hairdryer now. Right, now I'm going to do her frock in a kind of pink, and what I'm using is this colour here called Carmine, which I believe is made from crushed up beetles. I love it. It's kind of it's a very pure kind of colour, and you can make it dark. And if I add it to, sometimes add it to vermilion. Vermilion is more kind of an orangey red, and then I kind of use this for the shadows within the vermilion. But when it's thinned down with a lot of water, it makes a really nice pink. A real rose pink. That's good. So there we are. And I'm just adding a bit more to it, a bit more colour to it. And as you can see, it's kind of, it's a bit stronger like that. And there's the phone. Hang on, I'll be. It's my wife asking me to do something, but I'm allowed to finish this first. No, with a bit more. Actually, that probably had a moment to dry, so I can just. It's not quite dry. There's still, so you can see that it kind of melts into there quite nicely. And I'm going to have kind of brighter light shining this side, so I might just pretty much leave that as it is. And then we're going to want this to be a bit darker here, certainly on that side. And then I get a bit more kind of pure. That's too strong, so I can add a bit more water and that'll thin it out. And then go like that. Good. Now I'm going to go back to blue and just that's not very good. Hang on, just dab that out. There we go, that's a bit better. And then be wanting to oops, this is by not letting it dry properly. Now the pink is spreading in there, which is not quite what I wanted. There we go. And I'll do this bit of laciness. And I'm going to put a tiny bit of shadow under her chin there. And I think I would rather use, rather than blue, I'm going to use this kind of grey. Bit of shadow underneath there as well. And a bit of dark kind of grey in there to make the hair kind of go back, bit of shading in the background there. And then we'll have kind of blue across the top there. She can have a blue on her ring. Not panicking with the time at all. So I'm going to make the log much darker down below. I'm going to brush it kind of that way, sideways, to get a bit of texture to it. Get up in between her fingers there so that they stand out much more, like that. And that's much better. She's standing out much more there now. I'm almost at the point where I think I'm just going to say that's it with her. The thing about watercolours, you can so easily just overdo it, and it takes practice. You kind of have to ruin a lot of paintings to know when to stop. Does that make sense? It's part of the learning process, is making lots of mistakes, but then that's the same with anything, I think. And there, I'm going to call her finished. And then, oh, I got my pen stuck in the light net there, paintbrush stuck in the light switch. I'm going to put a few more kind of lines in there because I want to get her definitely standing. I might put a bit of crayon in at the end. And what did I have there? Something bluey, greeny, darky, grey, sort of a bit more of a shadow here around her, just to make her stand out. And you can see the green soaking up into the pink there, because I didn't wait long enough, or I didn't get the hairdryer out to paint it, to dry it. But I'm trying to do an awful lot in quite a short time here. And maybe, oh, that was wrong colour. There we go. And I'm just going to add a bit more blue to these birds. Just going to bring them up a little bit. And this one certainly needs a bit more. And I think they might just need a little dab of yellow on their fronts and their beaks and their eyes. That's gone green now, never mind. Okay, I'm going to switch off and I'm going to do a speed painting in of the background, okay, because that's going to be boring. See you in a moment. Now, Anders Agberry emailed me and said, "Why did I use these aquarelle crayons?" And well, it's because they're the only ones I've got, really. And I've had them for years. Again, I've had these almost as long as I've had my watercolor paints, and obviously not the original set because I kind of buy new ones every now and then. And I kind of like to use them just to kind of bring in a little bit of texture, kind of at the end of a drawing. I have no idea how long this is going to be, and it just kind of brings in a bit of texture very, very quickly. And I can just put a few more kind of hint of trees and branches in the background like that. And then I just put a few more kind of hints of grass at the front, little woodland clay. One of the reasons I like using them is because I use watercolor, and if I use these on top, if I make a mistake, then I can just kind of wash out the crayon and blend it into the background, and it just kind of makes it easier. So if you're using watercolor to paint with, you can use aquarelle just on the top, and then if you do make a mistake, you can kind of just wet it back into the painting to make it a bit easier to work with. I think that's about it. I'm going to call that it. So, well, there's an awful lot going on in there.